Hello, everyone. I am Renowned Zero, and today we're going to be talking about the Rogue Squadron film, directed by Patty Jenkins, has been axed from the Disney film lineup. As no one really knows on the internet, I believe that the sequel trilogy movies were all shit, especially The Last Jedi doing its irreparable damage, so much so that to me those movies don't even exist. I still have the enjoyment of being able to watch the original trilogy without any of that plaguing my brain. And most of the Disney content that has come out has been complete shit. I highly enjoyed Mandalorian Season 1. I highly enjoyed Season 2. Didn't care for the Book of Boba Fett. Didn't bother watching Kenobi. Rogue One was a boring piece of shit. Besides the last 20 minutes where they had Darth Vader show up, which was fantastic. And I can say for me, Solo was watchable, but in hindsight, thinking about it, it really wasn't a good film. Hashtag Solo lost money. And it's just another nail in the coffin for Star Wars. I'm actually looking forward to Season 3, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, they got rid of Gina Carano, and the show is not going to be the same without her. And Tales of the Jedi looked interesting, but I just don't really care too much. I don't really care about Star Wars that much as I used to. And also I don't pay for Disney Plus because, hashtag cancel Disney Plus for all the nonsense that they're doing that has nothing to do with Star Wars that I won't get into because this isn't really a political channel. But we're going to go through the article here from Bounding Into Comics, written by Slade Hale. Star Wars Rogue Squadron axed from Disney's film lineup. Perhaps as a signal, Disney's finally realizing the limitations of owning the popular Star Wars franchise, which they bought to have a boy brand, as well as Marvel with their girl brand Disney, and made it basically for girls, for the most part, because women can't learn anything from a man, and the women seem to always be better, hence their trash, blank slate, garbage Rey character. She's not a Skywalker, by the way. The company has decided to axe the Rogue Squadron from its release calendar. Good, because Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 1984 was hot dog shit. The first Wonder Woman was good. This is a major blow for a company that has boldly invested time and resources in several prominent tie-in shows, only to see diminishing returns, which they have. Variety broke the news in an article that tried to best downplay the cancellation of the film, citing the fact that it was moved from Disney's production schedule back in 2021. However, some secret evidence pointed to the fact that Rogue Squadron would be a sure thing, which is why the sudden cancellation is so profound. I'm glad it's not being made. Director Patty Jenkins, of course, both Wonder Woman was to direct a spin-off film focusing on a story about the Rebel Alliance's titular X-Wing squadron, though many fans question whether modern Disney could manage such a simple feat in the wake of 2019's disastrous Rise of Skywalker, which it was absolute dog shit. And I saw it twice. There's some chatter that Rogue Squadron was merely put on the back burner and could see a future release. However, this doesn't seem likely, especially given that the film was already delayed due to scheduling conflicts with Patty Jenkins back in late 2021. To compensate, Disney is reportedly refocusing its efforts on the live-action remake of Snow White, featuring the egregious Ross's Rachel Zegler, as well as Inside Out 2 and The Lion King prequel, by the way. It's not a sequel, it's a prequel. All three of which are scheduled to release in 2024. And also, of course, there's a race swap in Snow White because, again, we can't see legitimacy in original black characters, so we have to race swap white characters to give y'all the sloppy seconds of the white characters. It's worth noting the irony of Disney mothballing a feature-length Star Wars film in favor of its own in-house properties, but that's not surprising given the lackluster performance of the franchise under Disney direction, which it lost 50% of its audience going from Force Awakens to Rise of Skywalker. Currently, the company seems to be repurposing Star Wars for the home television market, soldiering forward with the new series like Tales of the Jedi, Acolyte, which is going to be shit. It's written by Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. Well, former personal assistant. and season 3 of its flagship series, The Mandalorian. It's also not the first time Disney has abandoned plans to bring Star Wars back to the silver screen. Colin Trevorrow and Derek Colony's Episode 9 treatment, Duel of the Fates, was put to rest when they exited the project, paving the way for Rise of Skywalker to conclude Disney's sequel trilogy, which I read and seen videos on this version, Duel of the Fates. It sounded much better. Wasn't really going to fix much, but it sounded like a way better concept than what we got with the Fall of Skywalker, I'm sorry. Similarly, DCEU alum Zack Snyder was set to direct Rebel Moon, which was originally conceived as a Star Wars story more than a decade ago. Disney canned it shortly after acquiring Lucasfilm in 2012. Other notable cancellations include a planned sequel to the lackluster Soy Loa Star Wars story and the new Star Wars trilogy helmed by extremely Rian Johnson. He's never going to get that trilogy. He's a terrible person for Star Wars. He can go ahead and do his own stuff. He'd be better over there. At this point, only 2 feature film projects, Star Wars projects, are rumored to be in development, helmed by MCU alum Kevin Feige and Taika Waititi, respectively. Given the diminishing returns attached to both directors in recent years, the Star Wars film franchise feels a lot like the Millennium Falcon, stuck with the malfunctioning hyperdrive. Meanwhile, Disney will attempt to milk as much money as it can out of the various television series, which cost far less to produce, yet seem to have trouble telling anything resembling a coherent and fun story. There's some hope that shows like Tales of the Jedi, the new season of Bad Batch, and Star Wars Visions will provide a much-needed boost with this wishful thinking. The canceling of Rogue Squadron speaks volumes about the company's faith in Star Wars as a film franchise and the ensuing Streisand effect, which will pay dividends to critics of Disney for years to come. In the meantime, Rogue Squadron can best be enjoyed in classic form. The Taylor 1996 novel from author Michael A. Stackpole, which I do own all 9 books. The Dark Horse comics, and of course the iconic video game trilogy that first debuted on the Nintendo 64 and later the GameCube and Windows platforms. Any one of these are bound to be a sight better than whatever Disney and Patty Jenkins would have brought to the table, 100%. The Rogue Squadron games were great. Great games. I want to go back and replay them because it was so good. Disney continues to shit out Star Wars garbage, and it shows that the people working behind Star Wars are more concerned with spreading the message than giving us quality Star Wars content. Even with the new crappy Andor series that no one's gonna watch, talking about modern politics and Trump, because that's what you want to see in Star Wars, modern woke dog shit. And Orange Man bad. And watching a character that no one cares about in Andor. Because again, Rogue One was not a good movie. Except for the last 20 minutes when Darth Vader was there. And man, it's going to be terrible, terrible years to come for Star Wars. Star Wars is already dead, in my opinion. Star Wars has been dead for me. I've come to the realization just recently that Star Wars is dead. Pretty much after Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi. Oof. I had high hopes that Star Wars would come back with The Mandalorian, but man, I have nothing. I really have no love left for Star Wars except for, again, the original trilogy stuff. So that's my thoughts on this. Thank you everyone for checking out this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content. Be sure to back the Ripperverse, with there being only 8 days left to do so. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.